ravishing victims of a Myron here, and this review is going to be about Ghostgirl. Now, Ghostgirl is a story by Tonya Hurley, and it was narrated by Parker Posey, but this particular audiobook had music accompaniment for some of the parts by Vince Clark. So this story is about a girl named Charlotte Usher. Each chapter starts off with a quote from a book or a quote from a song. So that I really liked. I really liked that about the story. So it's about this girl named Charlotte Usher. She is a girl who is kind of like a yandere to this one student, Damon. So yeah, Damon's her senpai and all that. Like, I'm relating to you anime lovers out there. I love anime. She's trying to become more like Damon's girlfriend, Petula, whom is the most popular girl in school. She is like cheerleader and stuff that, the stereotypical head girl. She tries to get close to Damon to try and talk to him and stuff like that, even though she doesn't plan out what she's going to do at all. She signs up for classes that she knows he's going to take. She's a stalker. She's like a yandere stalker. She hasn't killed anybody. Anyway, it's still event, but she becomes Damon's lab partner in science because he arrives late to class and she's the last person there without a partner. And anyway, she tells him that she's gonna help him in physics, but as everybody's leaving, she's trying to finish up the conversation that she was having with him. And then once everybody leaves the room, she's been munching on gummy bears throughout the entire period. One of the gummy bears that she eats gets stuck in the throat. She chokes. She tries to motion to someone outside. She's the only one in the room. She's going like, "Hey, I'm choking over here. I need help." But she's mainly doing that towards Damon. Damon just thinks like she's waving at him, so he waves back, and then he leaves, and then she dies. Yeah, death by gummy worm. Who would have thought? Anyway, she doesn't realize she's dead. She wakes up in a strange place. Then she leaves the classroom. She goes to this place where she feels like she has to go, and she meets up with the secretary. She's like, "So, you're a new student. Here, sign in on this." So she's signing on with this new student form. She's going through it really fast. She's like, "Oh, this is for the advanced classes and all that." But as she's reading the questions, she's realizing that these kind of questions are kind of, weird and strange and all that. And COD, she doesn't know what that means, so she just hands it back in. But while she's writing out the questions, she looks and sees this girl who's a redhead in green clothing, and she tries to say hello. She doesn't answer back. So anyway, she turns in the form, gets her new student ID. Then the secretary's like, "Now, one more thing." She takes out a file from the filing cabinet, and it shows her pictures of a body in rigor mortis. And it was just like, "We need to confirm this is you." And Charlotte does a double take, realizing that she's on a slab. Her body is on a slab. She is dead. And then she realizes that COD meant cause of death. So, yeah, that was very awkward for her. But then she realizes she still has to go to class as a dead girl. It's just called Dead Ed. So, and she still has to graduate or to really move on. She turns out to be the last person in that class that was supposed to be in that class. She meets all the students and all that, and the girl that she was originally trying to talk to turns out to be Piccolo Pam. And how that particular character died was that she was playing on her piccolo, she tripped, and in the midst of her trip, swallowed her flute. Thus choked. Not flute, piccolo. I keep on saying flute. Piccolo. She trips, falls, her piccolo goes into her throat, and she dies via piccolo choking. Which is why whenever she talks, she's like, there's always a hint of a note. Pam shows her ropes of everything, but Charlotte is still very much attached to her old life, and she's like, no, I have to dance with Damon, I have to do this, I have to do that, and then she, like, eventually she stumbles upon Possession, a chapter in a book called Possession. Then she figures, hey, let me try this out on Petula. So she goes to Petula's driver's ed class, tries to possess her, and almost gets them into a car wreck with 2 other students in the car. She tries again to try to possess Petula at her house, but eventually gets stuck in the door trying to go through the door. And then when she actually gets into Petula's bedroom, Damon's there. And so those two are kissing, those two are making out and all that. But she's just looking at it and she's imagining herself in Petula's shoes and all that. Then she goes out of the room with Damon because Damon's in the room and all that. And she hides in the bathroom, but then hears something in the shower. She pokes her head through to see what it is, and then it turns out to be Petula's sister, Scarlet. Now, Scarlet is the exact opposite of her sister. She's the outcast, and she's the one that's kind of like gothic and stuff like that. Or she's like that rocker chick, but nobody likes her because she's just like, what's your problem? Since Scarlet can see Charlotte, they eventually become partners. Partners are kind of. Charlotte goes to her, asks him about possession, and he tells her that the only way it works is that the person who can see you has to be willing. It has to be consensual. And she goes up to Scarlet and she's like, have you ever wanted to be invisible? And Scarlet's like, every day. And she's like, well, you have the chance to do that. So they do the possession in the teacher's lounge, and then Charlotte is in Scarlet's body, and Scarlet is floating in air and just floating around and all that. So Charlotte, as Scarlet, walks over to the cheerleading pitch. She goes underneath the bleachers to meet up with Damon because to aid Charlotte, Scarlet made Damon her web partner, and so they go tutoring together. Charlotte tutors Damon in Scarlet's body, but then his attention is preoccupied by the cheerleader. She's like, I tried to be a cheerleader. He's like, yeah, right, because he doesn't see Charlotte, he sees Scarlet. So yeah. And she's like, fine, I'll show you. And she goes up to the pitch, she joins in, and they're all laughing, but then she turns out to be pretty good. Too good.